everyone. Welcome to this new episode of our Student Spotlight series, where we are able to showcase some of the work our past students have done. I'm Charlotte, one of the outreach coordinators here at CCIR, and it's our pleasure today to have Ayan with us, who did one of our Future Scholars Program courses. So firstly, can you just introduce yourself? So tell us where you're from, what year you are in school, and then what your academic interests are.
Hello, my name is Ayan. I'd like to thank you for having me today. I'm from Azerbaijan, Baku, and I joined the CCIR Future Scholars Program this summer. So I joined it in my final year of high school, and I'm now currently enrolled into my first year of college. The program I took was with Dr. Jody Krause from Princeton University. We explored the subject of biochemistry. Proteins in particular was the topic we were interested in. And for my particular research work, I worked with genetics and basically explored protein synthesis and how genetic mutations impact the ribosome, the large subunit of the ribosomal assembly in mitochondria.
Great. And what interested you in taking this course?
Well, I've always had a drive for sciences and for STEM. In particular, I really was interested in biology. My whole high school experience was basically trying to explore the subject and find my areas of interest. And when I discovered the program, it was really eye-catching because it was the way I could conduct research even though I was in high school, because that's not really the experience people get to have in high school. It's usually in college when it happens. And biochemistry was a subject that really interested me. And after my my draft and my research work, I found out I was really interested in genetics, and it actually connected with my major because I'm studying genetics right now, and it was really helpful in that sense, and also the outcome of having a whole research paper by the end of high school, and working with such honorable professors was it was really a great experience.
Great. And then so now we're going to shift to discussing your specific research topic. So I know you mentioned it, but can you just again mention what your research topic was about and tell us how you decided on that topic?
Of course. So my research topic is structural basis for mitochondrial disease in large subunit assembly of mitochondrial ribosomes. So the initial topic of the program was biochemistry and proteins. And we explored proteins as a whole from the structural perspectives, from the chemical perspectives. And that's when I kind of had a go at looking at the protein synthesis. It was the second month of the program when we started writing a draft. And well, the protein synthesis was really interesting as it happened, in cells. But then I also started going through papers, and I found it really interesting how mitochondria is a semi-autonomous organelle, so it has its own protein synthesis. And I decided to kind of merge the two topics, and the outcome was basically exploring the protein synthesis in mitochondria and how mutation impacts it. I focused on one specific mutation. It was the UL3M mutation. And in the whole process, ribosomes play a key role. So the ribosomes are composed of the large and the small subunit. So I focused on the large subunit and the mutation that is found there in particular.
Interesting. And then can you tell us what type of research you conducted and what your process was like finding the data?
So the first month of the program, we were kind of focused on the theory. We had lectures with our professor, and we basically kind of were focused on gaining a background to have, a solid base to start off with. And then later, in the second month, we started working on our drafts. And here I found the program's list of drafts and papers really useful because they had, they've provided access to different research papers and articles, and that was really helpful to begin with. And then the third month, when we kind of polished our final drafts and had our more or less concluded papers, it was also really helpful to work with the professors and, ask about the different aspects of, formatting and editing and maybe adding some new information. But for the whole experience, I would say that utilizing the articles provided by the CCIR team was something that really put an advantage to our work, and it made it a whole lot easier to move on with.
Great. And then can you walk us through the findings of your research?
Okay, so basically it started off, the research paper starts off with exploring the ribosomes and the mitochondria as separate organelles. And then moving forward, it was kind of like we came to the proof by the end of the paper that in fact the mutation does affect the large subunit of the ribosome, which does impact the protein synthesis and does change the whole organelle's function, basically. So it was kind of exploring the information and actually proving that it is the way it is. Because in fact, when I started with this topic, it was kind of challenging to find articles that summed everything up that I was looking for. So I kind of just took it bit by bit from every paper that I've read to have the whole information summed up in my own paper.
For people that aren't maybe so well versed in biology, can you give us an idea of what the importance of your findings are for the field or for the general public?
Of course. So basically, when thinking about genetics and mutations, most are usually focused on the nucleus. And it's really interesting how the mitochondria itself has its own DNA, how it can make proteins. And it's not something most people know about, like about mitochondria and the way it synthesizes. So it was, I'd say, really interesting, and it was something unique for me personally as well, exploring this organelle and the way protein synthesis is changed when a mutation occurs in it.
Great. And then my last question about your specific research topic, can you walk us through your publication process? So if you have tried to publish anywhere, what it was like kind of going through that process of submitting and stuff like that.
So I haven't really published my research paper yet. I'm in the process. But with the CCIR team, I'd say my professor has really helped me with finding journals that accepted high school research, because most, once again, are focused on undergraduate research or graduate research. But we were provided, as a group, were provided a list of different journals that accepted high school research, and just working through them, seeing the deadlines and the formats we had to follow in order to submit. It was really helpful because the team kind of navigated us through the process, and well, hopefully our whole class will get published, and our papers are going to be seen, because in fact, we all followed the same curriculum, but all of the research papers came out different. Someone was focused more on the mathematical parts, on the computer science parts, and I, for example, concentrated on genetics. but it all is under the umbrella of biochemistry. So that's really interesting and unique about this program.
Great. And then now we're going to shift into discussing just your general experience with CCIR. And because you mentioned working with other students, I'm just going to jump into asking you what your experience was like working with the other students, and maybe if you can give some insights into kind of how it worked, even though you all had different research topics, and what were maybe the benefits or pros and cons of that.
Okay, so our group had 4 people, and we all were from different countries, different continents, and we had different high school backgrounds, I'd say. But one thing I really enjoyed was noticing how motivated everyone was and how we all worked towards the same goal, even though our topics were kind of different. And it was interesting when we had these 2 workshop sessions with our professor and our TA, when we kind of presented our works and talked about them, and everyone got to have an insight of what the other people were doing. And it was, really a great experience, especially in high school. Well, yeah, that's great.
Great. I think one of the great things that you brought up is how you are all from different countries and even different continents, which is such a fun, unique experience that CCIR is able to bring together like-minded students from around the world, and you have, be able to connect and share your past experiences and learning process and everything. Um, so can you tell me what your experience was like in the program doing a high-level research project like this as a high school student?
Yes. So obviously the curriculum was beyond the high school courses we took, and we could feel the challenge in the first few sessions. But I believe the resources that our teacher provided and the presentations that we went through were really helpful. And after completing the first month of theory, it was easier to move on and to explore our own subjects and to start with the drafts. But overall, I'd say I really did gain a solid background in science that goes even beyond high school. So that's actually really helpful in college now. And that's one thing that I see as a, positive aspect of the outcomes.
In our programs, for both programs, we really like to emphasize the aspect of mentorship as opposed to the traditional teacher, where our mentors don't just transfer information onto you as the students, but really guide you through your own discoveries and learning process. So can you tell us what your experience was like with your mentor as you moved through the first teaching half of the course into the latter, more research-oriented half of the course?
Yes. So basically, after we have chosen our own topics, it was kind of our paths kind of dilated, and we were more in contact with our mentor now. And just any question we had, it was an email away or, a meeting, an online meeting away. I really enjoyed how much support we had in that sense, that we got to, ask questions and get answers. And even though our topics were very different, and even though maybe our mentors were not specialized in the fields we were exploring necessarily, it was really insightful, and they were guiding us via different resources. And we even had one session where we kind of wrote down our topics, and then our mentor provided us with maybe useful books, textbooks, articles, and she also gave us like bullet points that we should touch on or maybe explore in our paper for it to be successful and effective.
Great. And just a few more questions for you. Firstly, do you think this course has given you any insights into your future? Maybe has it informed or shaped how you think of your path moving forward, either your academic journey or your career path?
Yes, definitely. I'd say we all gained more confidence now that we explored the field. and kind of it was an experience of like diving deeper into the subject of our interest. And especially for me, now that I transitioned to my undergraduate studies, it's like a foundation for me to look forward to other research projects in college, and to have an insight of how everything will go, and to have this, skills that we gained through the course itself.
Great. And then my last question for you, what would you say to someone who asked you what the value of doing a project or a program like this is, especially for a high school student?
Well, I'd say you definitely gain confidence and experience from the work you do, and obviously exploring the subject of your interest at such a young age and stage of your life is really impactful as to how you see your future, and what goals and aims you have for yourself when you graduate high school.
Great. Thank you so much for chatting to me, and congratulations again on your nomination to our Spotlight series, and good luck with your publication as well.
Thank you.